My beloved child, listen carefully, because this moment is not random, and this message did not find you by accident. Heaven has been watching your choices, especially the ones no one applauded, the moments when you stayed, when you listened, when you obeyed even though it would have been easier to scroll away. Archangel Michael stands as witness right now, sword lowered, wings steady, announcing that something big is coming to you today, and it is directly connected to the last message you did not skip. Obedience matters, and obedience is rewarded. There are many who hear, but few who remain. Many feel the nudge, but only some respond. You are among the rare ones who stayed when your spirit was being tested, and heaven noticed. This is not about entertainment. This is about alignment. The reason your heart feels alert right now is because a door has begun to move. Not tomorrow, not someday, today. Archangel Michael is stepping forward in this hour, not to fight against you, but to fight for you. He says you passed a quiet test. It did not look dramatic. There was no thunder, no visible sign. Yet in the unseen realm, your choice carried weight. You listened when your soul was tired. You stayed when doubt whispered. You obeyed when convenience invited you to leave. And now the scales are shifting in your favor. Hear this clearly: what is coming is not random blessing. It is a response to consistency, a response to trust, a response to obedience that did not need proof to continue. Many people want reward without rhythm, harvest without sowing, confirmation without commitment. But you, yes, you, kept showing up, and heaven keeps records. Archangel Michael says there is a release attached to today. Something that was held back is now being authorized. Something that was delayed is now being rerouted. Something that required timing has reached its appointed hour. This is why this message feels urgent in your spirit. Not rushed, urgent. There is a difference. Urgency is heaven's signal that alignment has been achieved. You may not even fully understand what you did right. That's the beauty of obedience. It often looks small to the mind, but massive to the spirit. You simply stayed. You listened. You trusted that there was more than what your eyes could see. And because of that, Archangel Michael says, prepare your expectation. Not hype. Expectation. Because what is approaching carries substance. Let me tell you something important. This reward is not just for you. Your obedience created covering. Someone connected to you is about to feel relief. Someone tied to your prayers is about to experience a shift. When you obeyed, you didn't just move your own life, you moved an entire chain. That is why heaven is responding with precision. Archangel Michael is very clear. This is not a generic message. If it were, you would not feel this personal. The reason your heart is beating a little faster is because your spirit recognizes truth. You are standing at the edge of a confirmation. Not the kind that shouts, but the kind that settles deep and says, now I understand why I had to wait. And yes, obedience is being rewarded. Not because you were perfect, but because you were present. Not because you never questioned, but because you didn't quit. There were moments you almost did. Heaven saw that too. Yet you stayed. And staying has activated something powerful. Archangel Michael says, watch the next 24 hours closely. Not with anxiety, with awareness. Because something will stand out. A word, a message, an opening, a sudden clarity. It will feel simple, but it will carry weight. Do not dismiss it. The reward often arrives quietly before it grows lonely. You are not behind. You are not late. You are not forgotten. The very fact that you are hearing this now is proof that heaven has been arranging timing on your behalf. What you thought was delay was actually protection. What you thought was silence was actually strategy. Let this settle in your spirit. Obedience positioned you for acceleration. What took others months may take you moments. A required struggle before will now flow with grace. Not because life suddenly became easy, but because you are now aligned. Archangel Michael stands guard over this transition. He says, "Do not second guess what I am doing. Trust the process that trusted you enough to test you. The message you didn't skip with the key. This moment is the door opening. And this is only the beginning. Chosen one, take a breath and stay with me, because what Archangel Michael is revealing now goes deeper than what you expect. The reason obedience matters so much is because it proves something powerful in the spiritual realm. It proves trust without pressure. It proves faith without force. When you did not skip the last message, you unknowingly stepped into a covenant moment. Heaven was not just speaking to you. Heaven was watching how you responded. And your response unlocked access. Archangel Michael says there are different levels of blessing, and not all of them are released the same way. Some blessings come through prayer, some through patience, but there are rare rewards that come only through obedience. The rewards are not delayed, negotiated, or debated. They are triggered. And today, one of those triggers has been pulled in your life. You may have wondered why lately you felt a strange inner pressure to stay focused, to listen more carefully, to slow down your reactions. That wasn't random. That was preparation. Archangel Michael says heaven was training your discernment because what is coming requires clarity, not confusion. The reward attached to obedience is not always loud money or sudden fame. Sometimes it is divine positioning, being in the right place, hearing the right thing, at the exact right moment. And here is something very important. Not everyone around you passed this test. Some dismissed it. Some mocked it. Some were too distracted. That does not make them bad. It simply means they were not ready. But you were. And readiness is rare. That is why what is coming to you cannot be copied or stolen. It is sealed to your obedience. Archangel Michael says there has been a battle over your attention. Distraction with the enemy's strategy, because attention is the doorway to instruction. If you miss instruction, you miss direction. And if you miss direction, you delay destiny. But you stayed attentive. That is why destiny is responding. And now listen closely. Obedience does not mean you never struggled. It means you chose alignment even when it was uncomfortable. Heaven saw you wrestle internally. Heaven saw you question silently. Yet you still stayed open. And that is why the reward will feel deeply personal. It will answer questions you never spoke out loud. There is a shift happening in how you will hear God from this point forward. Archangel Michael says your sensitivity is increasing. What used to feel confusing will now feel clear. What used to feel heavy will now feel lighter. This is not imagination. This is upgrade. Obedience always upgrades spiritual perception. And because this message is not meant to stop with you, this is the moment where your action helps carry it further. If this word is resonating with your spirit, take a second and let the algorithm know that something meaningful is happening here. Like this message so it can reach others who are standing on the edge of obedience. Share it with someone who needs confirmation that staying faithful is not pointless. Leave a comment, even a simple "I stayed," because engagement is a form of agreement in the digital realm. And yes, this is also the right moment to subscribe to this channel and join the family that does not scroll past divine appointments. When you subscribe, you are not just supporting a channel. You are choosing to stay connected to messages that sharpen discernment and strengthen obedience. If membership is available to you, step into it. There are deeper layers for those who are ready to go further. Archangel Michael emphasizes this. Obedience creates momentum. One obedient choice leads to another, and suddenly you look back and realize how far you've come. That is why today matters so much. Today is not isolated. A day is connected to what is unfolding next. There is also something being corrected behind the scenes. A misunderstanding. A delay caused by misalignment. Not yours, but someone else's. Archangel Michael says justice is being recalibrated. This does not mean revenge. It means balance. What was withheld unfairly is being released properly, and you do not need to chase it. Obedience attracts what striving never could. Pay attention to the way peace begins to replace pressure in your heart. That is one of the signs that heaven has stepped in. Anxiety fades when authority arrives, and Archangel Michael carries authority. He is standing watch over this transition to ensure nothing meant for you is intercepted. Before this moment moves forward, I want you to do one thing internally. Acknowledge that you stayed. Do not minimize it. Do not brush it off. Honor your own obedience, because heaven already had. When you honor what heaven honors, alignment deepens. And listen, what is coming next in this message is not surface level. It connects obedience to something many people misunderstand. This is where clarity turns into confidence. Hold on, because what Archangel Michael reveals next will make everything click in a way you did not expect. Faithful one, there is a reason Archangel Michael is speaking with such precision now. This is not encouragement for comfort. This is instruction for transition. When obedience is rewarded, it often brings responsibility before it brings relief. That is why heaven is speaking slowly and clearly. Something big is coming, yes, but it will require you to recognize it when it arrives. Many miss their reward because it doesn't arrive the way they imagined. Archangel Michael says your reward will arrive wrapped in purpose, not distraction. There has been a silent separation happening in your life. Certain desires have lost their pull. Certain conversations feel empty. Certain patterns no longer satisfy you. That is not loss. It is refinement. Obedience hath been pruning your appetite so you do not sabotage what is about to be placed in your hands. You are being prepared to hold something sacred without mishandling it. Archangel Michael reveals that heaven tested you with continuity. Not intensity, not drama, continuity. Could you remain steady when nothing obvious was happening? Could you listen when there was no guarantee of outcome? That is why not skipping mattered so much. It showed consistency. And consistency is what qualifies a person for trust. Heaven does not release weighty things to unstable vessels. You may feel a strange mixture of peace and alertness right now. That is because your spirit senses movement. Something is being repositioned around you. A conversation will soon take a different tone. A decision you feared will suddenly feel simple. An opportunity you thought was gone may reappear, but with better terms. This is not coincidence. This is alignment catching up with obedience. Archangel Michael says the enemy attempted to exhaust you before this moment. Fatigue was meant to make you careless. Disappointment was meant to make you disengage. What you didn't. You stayed receptive. And because of that, heaven is stepping in with reinforcement. You will notice strength returning in subtle ways. Clarity in moments where confusion used to dominate. Courage in places where hesitation once lived. There is also a spiritual inheritance connected to your obedience. Something passed down that was blocked is being reopened. This may show up as favor, wisdom, or protection you cannot explain. You didn't earn it through effort. You accessed it through alignment. That is why the reward feels effortless when it arrives. Archangel Michael wants you to understand this clearly. Obedience is not about control. It is about trust. You trusted without knowing the outcome. And now heaven trusts you with what comes next. That is a sacred exchange. Do not rush it. Do not announce it prematurely. Let it unfold. Some of you have been praying quietly, asking God if your consistency mattered. This is your answer. It mattered more than you know. It shifted timelines. It closed doors that would have drained you later. It opened pathways you could not see yet. Obedience always works ahead of understanding. You are entering a season where confirmation will follow action, not precede it. It means you may need to move before you feel fully ready. Archangel Michael will guard your steps, but you must stay sensitive. Do not return to old habits just because they are familiar. Familiar does not mean safe. There is a seriousness to this moment, but also a deep kindness. Heaven is not pressuring you. Heaven is partnering with you. The reward is not just something you receive. It is something you steward. That is why your heart hath been softened. Soft hearts can carry heavy blessings without becoming proud. Archangel Michael says the next sign will feel ordinary on the surface. Do not dismiss it. The biggest shifts often enter quietly. Pay attention to what repeats. Pay attention to what suddenly makes sense. Pay attention to what no longer fits. These are all signals. Before this message closes, take this into your spirit. You are not waiting anymore. You are walking. And walking requires awareness. Stay present. Stay obedient. Stay humble. Heaven is closer than you think. Now receive this activation with intention. Type "I walk in obedience" in the comments if this message is speaking directly to your spirit. Blessing code 819 has just been released over your life. As this word settles into your spirit, hear me clearly. This message did not come to entertain. It came to awaken. Every time you respond, every time you give, you help carry this light to another soul who is on the edge of obedience just like you were. The Lord says, as you sow into my word, I open rivers where you saw only dust. I feel led to tell you, your support in this moment is not random. It is a prophetic response. When you activate Super Thanks, join membership, or give through the PayPal link in the description, you are placing oil on the altar of this mission. What you release now becomes seed that speaks on your behalf. I bless every giver with multiplied clarity, protection, and divine acceleration. Obey this prompting now, and watch heaven answer you swiftly. Beloved soul, there is a deeper layer Archangel Michael is unveiling now, and it concerns discernment. Obedience opened the door, but discernment will determine how you walk through it. Many people receive opportunities they are not prepared to recognize. They mistake divine invitations for ordinary moments and miss what heaven is offering. That is why this message continues to meet you where you are. Heaven is training your eyes as much as your heart. Archangel Michael says the season ahead will require you to listen more than you speak. Not because your voice lacks value, but because wisdom is about timing. There will be moments when silence protects you more than explanation ever could. You are entering a phase where not everyone needs access to what God is doing in your life. Privacy will become a form of protection. Yarded without guilt. There is a subtle temptation approaching, and it looks like familiarity. Old patterns may try to reintroduce themselves, not loudly, but gently. Old conversations, old compromises, old ways of thinking that once felt safe. Archangel Michael warns that familiarity can dull discernment if you let it. Just because something feels known does not mean it is a line. You have outgrown certain spaces, even if they once nurtured you. You may notice that your tolerance for confusion is decreasing. Things that used to feel acceptable now feel irritating or heavy. That is not impatience, that is clarity. Your spirit is rejecting what no longer matches your assignment. Do not force yourself to fit where you no longer belong. Obedience has elevated your awareness, and awareness changes your standards. Archangel Michael says this next phase will test your reactions. Not everything requires a response. Not every misunderstanding needs correction. Sometimes restraint is obedience in motion. You are learning that strength is not proven by reaction, but by restraint. Heaven trusts you with silence because silence requires maturity. There is also a shift happening in your prayer life. You may find yourself praying fewer words but feeling deeper connection. That is alignment. God is not impressed by volume. He responds to sincerity. As your obedience deepens, your prayers become sharper. You will begin to pray with clarity instead of desperation. Expect your prayers to feel more focused, more intentional, and more effective. Archangel Michael reveals that someone is watching how you carry this season, not to judge you, but to learn from you. Your consistency is becoming a testimony without you trying to teach anyone. Be mindful of your conduct. Integrity will speak louder than explanation. Let your peace be your evidence. There will be a moment soon where you are invited to choose comfort or calling. The choice will be subtle, not dramatic. Comfort will ask you to stay still. Calling will ask you to move forward with trust. Archangel Michael urges you not to hesitate when that moment comes. Obedience has already prepared you. You do not need more confirmation than what you have already received. You might feel a sense of distance from certain people right now. That does not mean rejection. It means realignment. Some connections were seasonal, not permanent. Bless them silently and release them without bitterness. Holding on to what has expired only delays what is arriving. There is also a restoration happening internally. Confidence that was once shaken is being rebuilt, not through external validation, but through inner assurance. You are beginning to trust your discernment again. Archangel Michael says this is crucial because the next steps will require decisiveness. Indecision creates delay, and delay is no longer assigned to you. Pay attention to how your body responds in certain environments. Peace and unease are both messengers. Your spirit will alert you before your mind understands. Trust those signals. Obedience has tuned your sensitivity. Do not override it with logic alone. Balance wisdom with intuition. There will be moments when you feel alone in this process. Understand this clearly. Isolation is not abandonment. Sometimes heaven separates you temporarily so you can hear clearly. Noise interferes with instruction. Solitude strengthens discernment. Do not rush to fill silence with distractions. Let it teach you. Archangel Michael assures you that provision is already accounted for. You do not need to fear lack as you move forward. What is required will meet you when you step in alignment. Obedience unlocks provision you cannot budget for. Trust the flow, not just the numbers. As this message continues to unfold in your life, remember this: clarity is your compass now. Do not move from pressure. Move from peace. Peace does not mean the absence of challenge. It means the presence of alignment. When peace leads, protection follows. You are not becoming someone new. You are returning to who you were always meant to be. Obedience strips away the noise. Discernment will guide the rest. Stay steady. Stay listening. Heaven is not finished speaking. Precious one, Archangel Michael now draws your attention to timing, because obedience positions you, but timing activates what hath been positioned. Many people obey, yet grow impatient when results do not appear immediately. But heaven doth right what must mature. The reason you have felt held in place at times is because God was aligning multiple moving parts simultaneously. If even one element arrived too early, it would have caused strain instead of strength. Archangel Michael says this is the hour where patience and expectation meet. Patience kept you steady. Expectation will keep you alert. You are no longer waiting in uncertainty, you are waiting with awareness. That shift is important. Waiting with awareness means you recognize signals instead of forcing outcomes. You listen more carefully. You react less impulsively. And you move only when peace confirms it. There is something being synchronized right now between you and another situation. It may involve people, resources, or information that has been delayed for reasons beyond your control. You did not miss it. It was protected. Heaven shielded you from premature exposure. What arrives late but aligned is far more powerful than what arrives early and unprepared. You may notice a growing discomfort with rushing. Quick decisions that once felt exciting now feel unsettling. That is discernment sharpening. Archangel Michael says you are being taught to value precision over speed. What is coming requires accuracy. One misstep could complicate what is meant to flow smoothly. This is not to make you fearful, but attentive. There will be moments when you are tempted to compare your journey to others. Resist that urge. Comparison distorts timing. Some are in a planting season. Others are harvesting. You are in a transition season, which requires flexibility and trust. Archangel Michael reminds you that heaven measures success by obedience, not by visible milestones. You are also learning how to release control. Obedience taught you to listen. Now surrender is teaching you to trust outcomes you cannot manage. That can feel uncomfortable, especially if you are used to planning everything carefully. But some blessings arrive only when you loosen your grip. God cannot fill hands that refuse to open. There is a quiet confidence being built within you. Not arrogance, not pride, confidence rooted in knowing you are guided. This confidence will soon be tested, not by adversity, but by opportunity. When doors open, insecurity often tries to speak louder than faith. Archangel Michael urges you to remember how you got here. Obedience carried you this far. It will carry you forward. Watch how conversations begin to change around you. People may seek your input more often. Others may react differently to your presence. This is not imagination. Authority shifts atmosphere. When you walk in alignment, you carry clarity into spaces that lack it. Some will be drawn to that. Others may feel exposed by it. Neither reaction is your responsibility to manage. There is also a release of unnecessary guilt happening. Guilt over rest. Guilt over saying no. Guilt over choosing peace. Archangel Michael says guilt hath been a subtle weight you were never meant to carry. Obedience does not demand exhaustion. It demands sincerity. As you release guilt, you make room for joy to return in unexpected ways. Do not be surprised if your desires begin to simplify. You may want less but value more. Quality over quantity. Depth over noise. That is not loss, that is refinement. God is aligning your desires with your destiny so there is no internal resistance when it is time to move. There will be a moment soon where you feel prompted to act without overthinking. That is not recklessness, that is trust matured. Obedience trained you to listen. Now courage will train you to move. When that moment comes, do not look back for permission from people who did not walk this journey with you. Their perspective is limited to what they understand, not what God revealed to you. Archangel Michael assures you that protection surrounds your steps. You are not stepping into uncertainty alone. Divine order goes before you. Divine wisdom walks beside you. Divine strength follows behind you. You are covered from all sides. If doubt whispers that you are not ready, remind yourself that readiness is not about feeling confident. It is about being aligned. And you are aligned. Your obedience has already spoken on your behalf. Stay grounded. Stay attentive. Stay humble. Timing is unfolding, and when it completes its work, movement will feel natural, not forced. What is coming will not knock you over. It will fit you. Heaven does not overwhelm what it carefully prepares. This journey is not speeding up to confuse you. It is aligning to support you. Trust the rhythm. Trust the pauses. Trust the unfolding. You are exactly where you need to be, and the next step will reveal itself at the right moment. Beloved child, Archangel Michael now speaks about momentum, because obedience sets things in motion that cannot be stopped by hesitation anymore. There is a shift from preparation into participation. You are no longer only being shaped, you are being positioned to act. This is where many people feel uneasy, because movement requires trust beyond comfort. But understand this clearly. Heaven does not move you forward unless the ground ahead has already been secured. You may feel an increase in inner urgency, not anxiety, but a sense that certain things can no longer be postponed. Conversations you avoided, decisions you delayed, boundaries you softened. Archangel Michael says this urgency is not pressure. It is clarity arriving. When clarity arrives, delay becomes disobedience. And heaven is gently guiding you to move with wisdom, not fear. There is also a strengthening of your spiritual authority happening now. Authority does not always look loud or dominant. Sometimes it shows up as calm resolve. Sometimes it shows up as the ability to say no without explaining yourself. Sometimes it shows up as walking away without bitterness. These are signs of maturity. Obedience matured you quietly, and now that maturity is being activated, Archangel Michael reveals that resistance may appear as you move forward. Not because you are wrong, but because growth often disrupts what benefited from your hesitation. Do not mistake resistance for rejection. Resistance often confirms direction. When darkness pushes back, it is usually because light has entered territory it once occupied undisturbed. You are also being taught discernment and momentum. Not every open door requires immediate action. Some doors are informational, not transitional. Pray before you move. Pause before you commit. Obedience is not impulsive, it is responsive. You are learning to respond to instruction, not emotion. There is something important about this season. You are being watched by people who will never say it out loud. They are observing how you handle responsibility, pressure, and growth. Your consistency will speak louder than any explanation. Let your actions teach. Let your peace instruct. Let your restraint testify. Archangel Michael says momentum will test your focus. Distractions may increase as movement increases. That is why you must guard your attention carefully. Not everything deserves your energy. Not every opinion deserves your response. Attention is currency in the spiritual realm. Spend it wisely. And because this message is helping anchor you in truth, take a moment to anchor it outward as well. If this word is strengthening you, let others find it too. Like this message so it can be carried to those who are also standing at a crossroads of obedience. Share it with someone who has been wrestling with delay and doubt. Leave a comment declaring agreement, because spoken alignment has power. This is also the time to make sure you are subscribed to this channel, because consistency is not built through one message alone. It is built through continued exposure to truth. When you subscribe, you are choosing to stay connected to messages that sharpen your discernment and strengthen your walk. If membership is available to you, stepping into it is a way of saying yes to deeper growth and focused instruction. Archangel Michael emphasizes that momentum must be stewarded, not rushed. Speed without direction leads to exhaustion. Direction without movement leads to stagnation. You are being trained to balance both. This balance will protect you from burnout as blessings increase. You may notice that your tolerance for chaos is decreasing. Loud environments feel draining. Your drama feels unnecessary. That is because peace has become your baseline. Anything that disrupts it now feels foreign. Protect that peace. It is not weakness, it is wisdom. There is also a release of courage happening. Courage not to fight, but to move. Courage not to prove, but to trust. Courage not to explain, but to obey. This courage will feel steady, not dramatic. It will show up as quiet decisions that change long-term outcomes. Do not underestimate the power of small, consistent steps. Heaven often moves through simplicity. A single conversation, a single choice, a single act of obedience can redirect years. You are in a season where small actions carry large consequences. Choose with care, but do not freeze in fear. Archangel Michael says, remember how far you have come. Not to dwell on the past, but to anchor your confidence. If obedience carried you through confusion, it will carry you through clarity. If it sustained you in waiting, it will sustain you in movement. And listen closely, this next stretch of the message carries a revelation that ties everything together in a way you may not expect. What comes next will bring understanding to patterns you could never fully explain before. Hold on to this moment. You will want to hear what is about to unfold. Beloved one, Archangel Michael now draws your focus to patterns, because understanding patterns brings freedom. Many people repeat cycles without realizing why, but obedience has lifted you high enough to see what was once hidden. You are beginning to recognize why certain situations kept returning, why similar challenges appeared in different forms, and why some lessons took longer than expected. This awareness is not meant to bring regret. It is meant to bring release. Archangel Michael says the pattern was not punishment. It was preparation. Each repetition strengthened a different part of you. One taught patience. Another taught boundaries. Another taught discernment. What felt like delay was actually layering. And now the cycle is breaking, not because circumstances changed, but because you did. When you change internally, patterns lose their power externally. There is a deep healing happening beneath the surface. Wounds you thought no longer affected you are being gently addressed. Not to reopen pain, but to remove residue. Obedience often exposes what we learned to survive with but were never meant to carry permanently. Heaven is lightening your load so you can move forward without dragging yesterday into tomorrow. You may notice that your reactions are changing. Things that once triggered frustration now barely register. Situations that once demanded explanation now pass without response. That is growth. Emotional maturity is one of the clearest signs that a cycle is ending. Archangel Michael says when a lesson is complete, it no longer has authority over your emotions. There is also a restoration of trust taking place. Not blind trust in people, but healthy trust in your own discernment. You are learning to trust what you sense without overanalyzing it. This does not make you rigid. It makes you grounded. When trust is restored internally, confusion loses its grip. Archangel Michael reveals that you are stepping into a season where your past no longer disqualifies you. What once felt like evidence against you is now becoming proof of your resilience. Your story is shifting from survival to testimony. You are not defined by what you endured. You are defined by how you responded. Be aware that as cycles end, new responsibilities emerge. Freedom always comes with stewardship. You are being entrusted with greater clarity, and clarity requires integrity. What you know now must be handled wisely. Do not use insight to judge others. Use it to guide yourself. Compassion grows when understanding deepens. There will be moments where you are tempted to revisit old narratives, especially when things feel unfamiliar. The mind often reaches for the known when the new feels uncertain. Archangel Michael cautions you not to romanticize what God already delivered you from. Growth can feel uncomfortable, but regression always costs more. You may also feel a renewed sense of purpose stirring. Not a dramatic calling, but a quiet conviction. A sense that your presence matters in ways you once doubted. That is not pride, that is alignment. When purpose aligns with obedience, confidence becomes steady instead of fragile. Pay attention to what you are drawn to now. Books, conversations, ideas, and environments that once bored you may now feel enriching. This is evidence of internal realignment. Your appetite is changing because your assignment is clarifying. Follow what nourishes your spirit, not what numbs it. Archangel Michael says there is wisdom being unlocked through reflection. Take time to acknowledge what you have learned. Not to dwell on mistakes, but to extract insight. Reflection turns experience into wisdom. Wisdom ensures you do not repeat what you no longer need to revisit. There is also a call to forgiveness in this season. Not because others deserve it, but because you deserve freedom. Forgiveness releases energy trapped in resentment. It clears space for joy to return. Archangel Michael reminds you that forgiveness is not agreement. It is release. When you forgive, you reclaim authority over your own heart. You are becoming someone who responds instead of reacts, who listens instead of assumes, who chooses peace instead of proving a point. These changes may feel subtle, but they are significant. They signal that you are no longer living from wounds, but from wisdom. Do not rush to define what this new season looks like. Let it reveal itself. Clarity unfolds in layers, not all at once. Trust the process. Trust your growth. Trust that what is ending needed to end so what is beginning could breathe. Archangel Michael assures you that you are not late to anything meant for you. Cycles end exactly when their purpose is fulfilled. You did not miss your moment. You completed your lesson. That completion is what makes you ready for what comes next. As this message continues, prepare your heart for deeper insight. What is coming will connect the internal shifts to external changes in a way that will bring peace to questions you have carried for a long time. Stay open. Stay present. You are moving forward lighter than before, and that lightness is intentional. My dear one, Archangel Michael now speaks about reward with clarity, because many misunderstand how heaven delivers what obedience unlocks. Reward does not always arrive wrapped in celebration. Sometimes it arrives as peace where chaos once lived. Sometimes it arrives as authority where insecurity once ruled. And sometimes it arrives as a door opening that you did not even know you were qualified to walk through. What is coming to you carries depth, not noise. There is a misconception that reward must look dramatic to be real. Archangel Michael corrects this gently. True reward often feels right before it feels exciting. It settles into your spirit before it shows up in your circumstances. That is why you may already feel different. Lighter, clearer, more grounded. The internal shift is proof that the external shift is already in motion. You are being rewarded with discernment that protects you from unnecessary battles. Situations that would have drained you before will now resolve without effort. People who once confused you will no longer have access to your emotions. This is not emotional distance. It is emotional wisdom. Obedience trained you to recognize what deserves your energy and what does not. Archangel Michael reveals that your reward also includes restoration of time. Time you felt was wasted. Time you thought was lost. Heaven redeems time by accelerating understanding. What took years to learn will now take moments to apply. This does not mean you skipped lessons. It means you completed them. Completion brings efficiency. There is also a reward of alignment in relationships. Some connections will deepen naturally. Others will fade without conflict. You will no longer have to force harmony. What is meant to walk with you will match your pace. What is not will fall behind without drama. This is a sign that grace is active. Be aware that reward brings visibility. Not fame, but recognition. People will notice your stability, your consistency, your calm. Some will seek your advice. Others may project their insecurity. Stay humble. Stay grounded. Reward is not permission to elevate ego. It is an invitation to elevate responsibility. Archangel Michael says there will be a moment where you realize something you once prayed for no longer controls you. That is freedom. When desire loses urgency, it means it has been healed. You will still value good things, but they will no longer define your worth. This inner freedom is one of the greatest rewards of obedience. There may also be financial alignment connected to this season, but it will come through wisdom, not impulse. You will make clearer decisions. You will avoid unnecessary loss. You will recognize opportunities that match your values. Prosperity that lacks peace is not heaven's design. What comes now will be sustainable. Do not rush to announce what God is doing. Let results speak. Silence protects momentum. Archangel Michael reminds you that some things grow best unseen. When fruit appears, it will be undeniable. Until then, protect the root. You may feel prompted to simplify your life further. This is not loss. It is refinement. Removing excess creates space for excellence. Heaven often blesses through subtraction before multiplication. Trust what is being removed is making room for what fits your future. There is a calm confidence being established in you. Not the confidence that needs applause, but the confidence that remains steady without validation. This confidence will attract the right opportunities and repel distractions. You are becoming selective without becoming close. Archangel Michael says the reward also includes protection from regret. When you walk in obedience, even mistakes are redirected. Nothing is wasted. Everything becomes instruction. This assurance will free you from fear of failure. You can move forward without the weight of perfection. As this message reaches its depth, receive this truth. You are trusted by heaven. That trust was earned through consistency, humility, and obedience. Do not underestimate the significance of that. Very few reach this point without compromise. You stayed aligned. Now seal this moment with intention. Type "I receive my reward" in the comments if this message confirms what your spirit already knows. Blessing code 1441 has now been released and activated over your life. As this reward is being released, hear this invitation clearly and without hesitation. This word is flowing because someone obeyed to sow, and now heaven is asking you to do the same. The Lord is saying, when you place seed in my ground, I release harvest into lives you may never meet. I feel led to tell you directly, Your support right now is a prophetic action, not a donation. When you activate Super Thanks, step into membership, or give through the PayPal link in the description, you are lighting a lamp that reaches souls still in darkness. I speak blessing over every giver. May your obedience return as protection, clarity, and open doors. Do not delay this moment. Act now, and watch heaven respond with precision. Beloved one, Archangel Michael now turns your attention to stewardship, because reward is not the end of the journey. It is the beginning of responsibility. What heaven releases must be carried with wisdom, or it becomes weight instead of blessing. You are being taught how to hold what is coming without fear and without pride. This balance is rare, and that is why it is being emphasized now. You may notice that your decisions carry more consequence than before. Not in a burdensome way, but in a meaningful way. Small choices will begin to ripple upward. Words will matter more. Timing will matter more. This is not pressure. It is influence increasing. Influence grows when trust grows, and heaven has entrusted you with more. Archangel Michael says stewardship begins with awareness. Be aware of how you speak about what God is doing. Gratitude protects increase. Complaining restricts flow. This does not mean you deny challenges. It means you frame them through trust. How you interpret your journey shapes how others perceive their own. There is also a call to discipline in this season. Discipline not as punishment, but as structure. Structure creates sustainability. Without structure, even good things can collapse under their own weight. You will feel prompted to organize your time, your energy, and your commitments more intentionally. Follow that prompting. Order invites peace. You may experience moments where you feel stretched. The stretching is not to break you. It is to expand your capacity. Archangel Michael assures you that you will not be asked to carry what you cannot handle. Growth always comes with grace attached. If something feels heavy, ask for wisdom, not escape. There is also a refining of motives happening. You may question why you want certain things. This self-examination is healthy. Pure motives keep blessings pure. When motives align with purpose, progress accelerates naturally. Be honest with yourself. Heaven already knows your heart. You will likely encounter opportunities that look good but do not feel right. Learn to trust that distinction. Not everything beneficial is meant for you. Discernment will save you from detours that look attractive but lead to distraction. Saying no will become just as important as saying yes. Archangel Michael emphasizes humility and stewardship. Humility does not mean shrinking. It means staying teachable. Remain open to learning, even as you grow. Wisdom often arrives through unexpected voices. Do not assume you have outgrown instruction. Growth thrives where humility lives. There may be moments where others misunderstand your restraint. They may see your boundaries as distance. Do not be troubled by that. Boundaries protect what is sacred. You are not obligated to explain every decision. Peace is a valid reason. You are also being taught patience in visibility. Not everything needs to be shared immediately. Let fruit mature before you present it. Premature exposure can attract unnecessary interference. Archangel Michael reminds you that some things are meant to be enjoyed privately before they are celebrated publicly. As stewardship increases, so will accountability. You will feel a stronger internal compass guiding your choices. Listen to it. That compass is your alignment with heaven's will. Ignoring it will feel uncomfortable now, because obedience has sharpened your sensitivity. There is a quiet joy that will accompany this season. Not excitement that fades, but contentment that endures. This joy is not dependent on circumstances. It flows from knowing you are walking in alignment. That assurance will sustain you through fluctuations. Do not be surprised if you are called to support others more intentionally, not to carry their burdens, but to guide them with wisdom. Your experience has equipped you to encourage without enabling. Offer insight, not control. Support, not rescue. Archangel Michael says stewardship also includes rest. Rest is not optional. It is strategic. Burnout helps no one. Learn to pause without guilt. Rest restores clarity and prevents error. A rested mind hears instruction more clearly. As this message progresses, understand this. You are being trained for longevity. This is not a short-term blessing. It is a long-term assignment. Pace yourself. Honor your limits. Celebrate progress without rushing purpose. The next revelation will connect stewardship to legacy in a way that may surprise you. What you are carrying now extends beyond your lifetime. Stay open. Stay humble. Stay aligned. Heaven is not finished unfolding what obedience began. Beloved child, Archangel Michael now speaks about endurance because what has been released must be sustained. Many people receive a breakthrough but lose it through inconsistency. Heaven is not only interested in starting something in your life, heaven is committed to finishing it. That is why this phase focuses on staying power. You are learning how to remain aligned when the excitement settles and responsibility becomes routine. There will be days when things feel ordinary again. Do not misinterpret normalcy as stagnation. Stability is not absence of movement. It is evidence of foundation. Archangel Michael says this is where many fall away, not in crisis, but in comfort. Comfort can dull vigilance if you are not attentive. Stay awake in spirit even when life feels calm. You may notice that your motivation is being refined. You will no longer rely on emotional highs to stay committed. Instead, discipline will anchor you. Discipline is love in action. It is choosing alignment even when enthusiasm is quiet. This shift ensures that your progress is not dependent on mood. There is also a strengthening of resilience happening. Unexpected challenges may arise, not to derail you but to test durability. These challenges will not look like past battles. They will be subtler. Time management issues, competing priorities, minor frustrations. Archangel Michael reminds you that how you handle small pressures determines how well you carry larger responsibilities. Be mindful of what you allow to influence you now. Voices that once felt harmless may begin to feel distracting. This is discernment protecting momentum. You are allowed to outgrow certain influence. Guard your focus. Focus fuels consistency. You are also entering a phase where your words carry increased weight. Speak carefully. Declare intentionally. Complaints can undo what gratitude sustains. This does not mean silence your struggles. It means frame them with faith. Words shape atmosphere, and atmosphere affects outcomes. Archangel Michael says there is a temptation to overextend yourself. Saying yes to too much can dilute effectiveness. Learn to value depth over breadth. One aligned commitment is more powerful than 10 scattered ones. You are not meant to do everything. You are meant to do what is assigned. As this message continues, take a moment to ground yourself in the community that is walking this journey with you. If this word is strengthening your resolve, respond outwardly. Like this message so it can continue reaching those who need encouragement to endure. Share it with someone who feels tired but faithful. Leave a comment declaring that you are committed to staying aligned, because spoken intention reinforces internal resolve. This is also a crucial moment to ensure you are subscribed to this channel. Consistency is built through repeated exposure to truth, not one-time inspiration. When you subscribe, you are choosing to remain connected to messages that support endurance, clarity, and obedience. If membership is available to you, joining is a way of stepping deeper into focused growth and sustained alignment. Archangel Michael emphasizes that endurance is not about pushing harder, it is about staying aligned longer. You will learn to recognize when to rest and when to press forward. This balance will protect you from burnout and regret. Burnout comes from striving without alignment. Endurance flows from obedience with wisdom. You may feel moments of self-doubt arise unexpectedly. Do not panic. Doubt is not failure. It is a signal to reaffirm truth. Return to what you know. Remember how far you have come. Evidence of progress silences unnecessary doubt. There is also an increase in spiritual maturity taking place. You will respond more thoughtfully. You will recover more quickly from disappointment. You will no longer dwell where you once lingered. These are signs of growth that often go unnoticed but matter deeply. Archangel Michael assures you that endurance attracts trust. People will rely on you because you are steady. Opportunities will come because you are consistent. Heaven invests where there is reliability. Reliability is built quietly, choice by choice. Do not underestimate the power of showing up consistently. Even when nothing dramatic happens, consistency compounds. Over time, it produces stability that sudden breakthroughs cannot replace. This is how legacies are built. As this part closes, stay attentive to what comes next. There is a final layer being prepared that connects everything: obedience, reward, stewardship, and endurance, into one clear direction. Hold on. What is about to be revealed will bring closure to lingering questions and open your vision for what lies ahead. Beloved one, Archangel Michael now speaks with a tone of completion and preparation because you are approaching a threshold. This is not an ending, but it is a crossing. What you have learned, carried, released, and sustained is now forming a foundation strong enough to support what comes next. Many people reach blessing but are not ready for expansion. You, however, have been shaped for it through obedience. There is a clarity settling into your spirit that no longer needs constant reassurance. You are beginning to trust the quiet knowing inside you. And knowing is not emotion. It is alignment. Alignment removes the need to ask the same questions repeatedly. When alignment is present, direction becomes simpler, even when decisions are weighty. Archangel Michael reveals that the next season of your life will require integration. Integration means bringing together faith and action, patience and courage, humility and confidence. No longer will you live in extremes. You are learning balance. Balance is what allows growth without collapse. Heaven is not rushing you because heaven is building something lasting. You may feel a growing sense of responsibility that feels different from pressure. It feels meaningful, purposeful. That is because what you carry now affects more than just you. Your choices influence environments. Your peace shifts atmospheres. Your obedience creates pathways for others, even when you are unaware of it. There is also closing of old emotional doors happening. Regrets that once resurfaced now lose their grip. Memories that once carried pain now feel neutral. This is healing reaching completion. When healing completes, it does not announce itself. It simply stops hurting. That quiet relief is one of the clearest signs that restoration has taken root. Archangel Michael says you are no longer defined by what you survived. You are defined by what you steward. Survival taught you endurance. Stewardship teaches you wisdom. Wisdom will guide you into influence that does not exhaust you. Influence without exhaustion is a gift many never learn to carry. You may notice that your reactions to uncertainty have changed. Where you once rushed to control outcomes, you now pause to listen. Where you once feared delay, you now trust timing. This is not passivity, it is confidence in guidance. You know you are not walking alone. There will be moments when nostalgia tries to pull you backward. Familiar feelings, familiar environments, familiar dynamics. Archangel Michael gently warns you not to confuse familiarity with calling. What is behind you may feel comfortable, but it cannot sustain what you are becoming. Honor the past without returning to it. You are also learning how to lead yourself well. Leadership begins internally. Discipline, integrity, and discernment are strengthening within you. You will notice that you no longer need external pressure to do what is right. Conviction has replaced coercion. That is maturity. Archangel Michael emphasizes that the next phase will bring increased visibility of your inner life. Not public exposure, but personal awareness. You will see yourself more clearly. Your strengths, your limitations, your tendencies. This self-awareness is not meant to shame you. It is meant to empower you. You cannot steward what you refuse to acknowledge. There is also an invitation to joy in this season. Not joy dependent on outcomes, but joy rooted in alignment. You will find joy in small moments, in progress rather than perfection, in presence rather than performance. This joy will sustain you when motivation fluctuates. You may feel prompted to redefine success. Success will no longer mean approval or achievement alone. It will mean peace, integrity, and obedience. This redefinition will free you from unnecessary striving. You will pursue excellence without sacrificing rest. Archangel Michael says the wisdom you now carry will protect you from shortcuts. Shortcuts promise speed but steal depth. Depth is what sustains long-term fulfillment. You are being built for depth, not display. As you stand at this threshold, understand this clearly. Heaven is not testing you anymore. Heaven is trusting you. That trust is sacred. Honor it by continuing to listen, to obey, and to walk humbly. The next message will bring a sealing. Not an ending, but a confirmation. What has been spoken will be anchored. What has been prepared will be activated. Stay present. Stay receptive. You have come too far to rush the final step. Archangel Michael stands watch as you cross forward, not with fear, but with confidence shaped by obedience. You are ready for what comes next. My beloved child, this is the sealing moment. Archangel Michael now stands in full authority, not to warn, not to test, but to confirm. What began as a simple act of obedience has now completed its cycle. You stayed. You listened. You aligned. And because of that, heaven has finalized what was being prepared behind the scenes. This is not a promise anymore. This is activation. Archangel Michael says the season ahead will feel different because you are different. You are no longer searching for signs everywhere. You are no longer desperate for reassurance. You have learned to recognize God's voice through peace, not pressure. That maturity is the final confirmation that obedience has done its work. There is a calm certainty settling over you now. Not excitement that fades, not emotion that rises and falls, but assurance. Assurance that you are not guessing anymore. Assurance that you are walking forward with divine backing. Assurance that even when details are unclear, direction is not. This assurance is heaven's seal. You may notice that fear no longer speaks as loudly as it used to. Fear may still try to appear, but it no longer commands your attention. Obedience stripped fear of authority. Fear thrives in uncertainty, but obedience brings clarity, and clarity dissolves fear naturally. Archangel Michael reveals that what is coming next will require you to trust what has already been built inside you. You will not receive step-by-step instructions for everything. Instead, you will be guided through inner conviction. This is not abandonment. This is promotion. When heaven trusts you with inner guidance, it means training is complete. There will be moments where you look back and realize how protected you were, even when you didn't understand why doors stayed closed. Gratitude will rise naturally. Not forced gratitude, but deep appreciation. You will see that delays were not denials. They were adjustments. You are entering a phase where obedience will feel less like effort and more like instinct. Alignment has become your default. What once required discipline now flows naturally. This is the reward many never reach, living from alignment rather than constantly correcting misalignment. Archangel Michael says your life will now begin to reflect internal order. Chaos will reduce. Confusion will fade. Clarity will increase. This does not mean challenges disappear, but they will no longer dominate your emotional landscape. You will face them from a place of stability, not survival. There is also a new level of peace being released. Peace that guards your mind. Peace that steadies your decisions. Peace that allows you to rest without guilt. This peace is not passive, it is protective. It will keep you from returning to cycles you have already completed. You may find that people begin to treat you differently, not because you demanded it, but because alignment commands respect without words. Your presence will feel grounded, your responses measured, your energy consistent. This is quiet authority. Archangel Michael wants you to know this clearly. You did not imagine this journey. You did not exaggerate its importance. Obedience truly mattered, and heaven truly responded. What you are stepping into now carries longevity. It is not fragile. It is not temporary. It has been reinforced by every choice you made when no one was watching. As this message reaches its completion, receive this truth into your spirit. You are trusted, you are aligned, and you are covered. Nothing assigned to you will miss you. Nothing meant for you will bypass you. Walk forward without fear. Now seal this final moment with faith. Type "I am sealed in obedience" in the comments if you receive this word with clarity. Blessing code 2024 is now released and locked in over your life. The sealing did not come by chance, and neither does what I am about to say. The Lord is speaking plainly. This message continues only because obedient hearts choose to sow into it. When you give, you are not supporting a channel. You are fueling a divine assignment to reach souls who are still one message away from alignment. I hear God saying, as you release into my work, I release oil upon your house. This is your moment to act, not delay. Activate super thanks. Step into membership, or sow through the PayPal link in the description now. I declare that every giver is marked for protection, increase, and divine remembrance. Obey this prompting and watch heaven respond without delay.